Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's great to see you again. I was wondering, would you be interested in maybe going out and getting some coffee, some
Rejected!
together, and discussing things? Or hey, what's up? Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Today we're gonna chop it up about rejection therapy. What in the world is rejection therapy? Rejection therapy is by no means a new concept, but it is kind of something that gets like fluctuations of popularity on the internet. I personally kind of discovered it through a subreddit called How to Not Give a Fuck. The basic idea is that you essentially expose yourself to something kind of excessively and most importantly intentionally until you can basically curve any negative response that your mind or body has when you're engaged in whatever it is you're trying to overcome. So in this particular case, rejection. I know I kind of dropped this concept on some of my friends and they're just like, why would you do that? Why would you want to do that to yourself? I get it. It's not for everyone. It's not for fuckboys, all right? No offense to fuckboys. Some of my best friends are fuckboys. It's like some ultra babe once told me once upon a time. Adventure begins where your comfort zone ends. Hear me out on this idea, right? It's like a smartphone combined with a tennis shoe. All right, it's like a track.
Rejection!
You don't even have to run track to use it. You can just use it. Rejection is the breakfast of champions. I mean, seriously, we can all pretty much agree that anything worth doing is unlikely to be the easiest thing to do. Rejection itself is a common manifestation of the resistance that inherently comes along with any worthwhile endeavor. So it stands to reason that any of us that aspire to be better than we were the previous day should go ahead and absolve ourselves of the irrational fear of being rejected. I don't know about you, but I personally can think of a handful of scenarios in my past where I wanted to do something or I wanted to take a particular action, but I just didn't do it because of the simple fact that I was either afraid of being rejected or just afraid of failing in some fashion, which in my opinion is a pretty lackluster conclusion. In scenarios where I was in fact able to overcome my initial fear and take action on whatever I was thinking about, I was usually rewarded with one of two scenarios. The first outcome is the moment that I actually committed to the action, I was instantaneously absolved of all of the previous fear that I was harboring for the action. In addition to that, whether or not I received my desired outcome, let's say I didn't, I was still given the peace of mind of knowing that I took all of the appropriate actions that I could take in that moment. Outcome number B. Number B? Are you retarded? Yeah, maybe a bit. The second style of outcome that I've experienced when I was able to actually overcome my fear of action, not only was I absolved of fear and doubt like in the previous outcome, but the scenario actually proceeded from that point forward to go my way, as in I got my desired outcome. No lofty explanation needed there. Everybody likes things to go their way, right? I believe FDR said it best.
But the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance.
So yeah, I'd like to share with you guys a few of the solid rejection therapy attempts that I've been able to execute. I decided to go into Starbucks. I go up to the barista and I ask her, hey, do you think that I could have a free cup of coffee? After a series of really curious questions, she ultimately told me that I could not have a free cup of coffee, but that she would buy me one. I didn't get rejected, so technically I failed in my therapeutic attempt, but I did get a free cup of coffee. That was kind of cool. My next attempt was actually really fun. I was in close proximity to a smoking area, so I actually approached one of the smokers and I asked him, after seeing him remove his cigarette from his pack and go to smoke it, I asked him if I could have the remaining cigarettes in his pack. He had no problem telling me to fuck off. Well, he was polite about it, but that's essentially what he said. He was like, yeah, fuck off. So yeah, success. My other attempt that I had, this one was kind of fun. I was in a dining area. I was on my way to get a fork so that I could commence eating my food like humans do. I saw a guy basically about to sit down and start eating, and he had a fork. I asked him, nicely, I'm like, hey, do you think that I could have that fork that you're about to eat with? And then he pointed me in the direction where I could, of course, acquire a fork of my own. There are other forks out there. I kind of explained to him how I wanted his fork, and he was just kind of like, no, I'm about to use it. Go away, please. yeah, I got rejected. So that was a successful attempt right there. One thing to keep in mind though when you're doing this rejection therapy business is obviously, you know, you want to be courteous to any people that you choose to engage. You don't want to necessarily put someone in a non-desirable social situation being an asshole. I say it for myself, really. But yeah, those are all the rejection attempts that I've tried so far. I gotta say, I'm feeling it though. It's an interesting concept and it's definitely applicable in my reality, so fantastic. You can actually go over to rejectiontherapy.com where they have actually, the guy who created that website has made it into a card game. So there's like cards that you can purchase that will basically give you ideas on how to go about getting rejected in your daily life. I didn't feel the need to purchase these. I'm pretty fucking professional when it comes to getting rejected. Do that shit all the time on the regs. Also, I definitely recommend going over to the subreddit, How to Not Give a Fuck. That's a good spot to hang out at. Yeah, thanks so much for kicking it with me. I really do appreciate it. If you do actually execute any attempts at rejection therapy, definitely feel free to share them in the comment section below. I'd love to check those out. And yeah, thanks again for kicking it and have a beautiful day. So I got this idea, right? It's this concept I'm trying to make. It's a vegan frisbee, all right? So like, I don't know about you, but like, when I'm throwing my frisbee and my dog's like getting it, I don't want my dog to pick up a non-vegan frisbee.